So let's start completely from the beginning with an empty browser and just go to OpenSea. What we're looking for here is a contract we're interested in. We're going to find its Etherscan link to find the contract on the blockchain. So I'll go to Diablo. Here we are. Just verify that it's the correct one. And then just click on one of the items. Scroll down to details. And there's the contract link. That takes you to Etherscan. Loads of good stuff on here, which I'm sure we'll talk about one day. But for now, we're just interested in finding out where the metadata is. And you can always find that on ERC 721A from the token URI here, or ERC 271. Just put one in and you get the first one there, and that's an IPFS link. Sometimes they can have .json on the end, sometimes they don't. It won't work initially unless you've got your browser set up to go to IPFS, but there's a simple way around that. You can just replace the IPFS : / at the front there with a more regular HTTPS protocol link there to the ipfs.io, and that just gives you the same metadata or whatever is at that IPFS location. And that's the very first Diablo metadata there. And as you can see, we change it to 100, and it looks like they're all named sequentially, which is what we want. So from 1 to 1,000, you've got the metadatas for the whole collection. So now we just take that base URL without the bit on the end, and that's what we can use to automatically download all of them with these scripts here. So I've got a little config file here. It's a JSON config file. I'll paste the base URL in there along with the project name and the max token count, which we don't really need for what we're doing here, but the rest of the project, we've got 3 folders. We've got the source files where all the scripts are. We've got build, where things end up, and projects, where we configure what we want to do. So make a Diablo folder in the projects and put a config JSON in there. As you can see, that's what's in there. There's actually an extra thing I just put in there, the meta suffix. Now that's just because this metadata has .json on the end. Some don't, as I say, but this one needs to have that put on the end. So the first script we're going to look at is pull. You can just specify the project, which we've just set up there. So you can set up any number of projects you want to look at. And then the number of tokens you want to, or metadata tokens you want to pull down. We just start with 10. We'll start at 1. That's what the S1 means. And then there you can see it starts from 1, and we'll download 10 of them. So I finish at 9. I'll finish at 10. Anyway, it should finish at 10 really, but there you go. That's another bug we can fix one day. Not that it matters. So we've downloaded all of those as a little test just to make sure it works before we go ahead and kick off the whole thing. It's always a good idea. And we just flip over into VS Code just a second. So here we are in VS Code. It's just pointing at the root of the Muertos project. So you just see all the files in the whole thing. And you can see all the JSONs that have been downloaded into build Diablo. We've got a lot here already. I've already downloaded a few more. If you've stopped it, or if it failed for any reason, it can do. It can just fall over sometimes. The internet goes down or whatever. You can see where you got to. I got to 643 last time I tried this. So I can just start from there. I can call the pull py script again with the right project, When I go up to 1,000, this time I'm starting at 644. That little confirmation there is just to say, is it okay to overwrite any that are already there? So if you had started at 1, it would just go ahead and overwrite them all again. But you can just say no to get out of that more easily. And there we go. We've got 1 to 999. You can say there's that bug again. You see, we should have 1,000. This is the programmer and me expecting everything to start from 0 and thinking 999 is the thousandth one. You see, so we've got all but one apparently of these now, which is fine. And I've just compiled them all together into one JSON called all traits there. That's all of them all together in one JSON file. Just makes it easier to deal with later on. So we're going to look at another script now. Report. So we're going to use the project Diablo, and that's where the all traits is. So it is going to look for all traits in the folder, and it's going to pipe everything that comes out of that command into a text file. We'll just stick that in a text file called report in the build Diablo folder. That's done. It's really quick. Just skip on over to VS Code and take a look at that. So here we are. There's just a bunch of scripts on the side there, but that's the report that's been just generated, and here it is. This is right at the bottom. Let's go to the top, have a look to see what's in there. There's all sorts. You can write all sorts of things. I've just done a bunch of things here. So we've got most rare ones, obviously the one of ones there. Rarity calculation is just based on how low the score is for each trait. Obviously, there's only one of that one trait, so it gets a score of 1, so that's really good. This most rare regular Muerto 512 is based on the counts of all the traits there. So we've got a number of rare ones there. I don't know what algorithms other rarity places use, but that seems to be a reasonable one to me. We've got the trait groups. We've got 5 one of ones, which only 5 have. We've got the traits here, all the different traits across all the trait groups. The trait group is in the brackets after each one there. So we've got a lot of body ones here, and they're all in order of rarity as you go down. So you can see only 1%ers and 2%ers, 3, 6, 10, and then at the end, the blue sky background, 31% of people have that. And the yellow sky is 18%, so the backgrounds aren't particularly rare for Diablo. XR is a couple of little different files to come out of the report there, the profile and the remap. These are interesting because they're not text files, they're JSON files again, so we can do things with those, which we'll explore more in later videos, but just have a quick look at those now. So here we are again in VS Code. This is the profile JSON and the remap JSON. This is a profile one. It shows you the groups. They've had all their names stripped out, so they're kind of just generic as group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and all the traits inside. But all the counts and the number of traits in each group is the same as the original collection. It's got the same profile, so it's got the same rarity profile. There's only 5 one of ones, and they're called this trait 47, 247, and so on. And here is just a list of all the group names and the trait names. So you can use both of these scripts to regenerate the original traits again, you see. Or you could change all the names of the groups and the traits and have new ones, but with the same rarity profile as the original collection. Then you can, when you regenerate them, it doesn't necessarily make the same ones as were in the original collection either. So you could just make a whole different collection of Muertos in this case, if you kept the mapping the same, but in all different, with the traits in all different orders for all the different tokens. So the RP summary, which we've just generated with this command, is just all in one kind of JSON file that shows you the relative rarity, how often each one of the traits appears in each group. So as you scroll down, you get the more and more common traits. So for the eyes, the red, grey, and angry, they're the least rare, well, the most rare, the least prevalent, and white and angry are the rarest. And the rarest nose is trident, high and spiky, and the most common nose is trident. And at the end there, you've got the one of ones, which are unique. Unique just means that it only appears in one token. There you go. So that's just a little overview of the scripts we've got. As I say, there will be another video where we can see how we can use the profile and the remap to do some more interesting things. Thank you.